River One Asset Management lives in Wisconsin. So does Kohl's. That stock is down 20% on earnings. Let's take a look at what's done recently. As you can see, stock is straight lower here from 28 bucks down to sub 15 here right now. Let's take a look at the numbers as to figure out what's happening at Kohl's. So let's go back to 2019 here essentially and take a look at what's going on well for Kohl's here. 20 billion in revenue, 12% EBITDA margins. 5% net income margins. They're making $1.5 billion in free cash flow. And let's take a look at something else important. The balance sheet here, 2.5 billion in net debt compares to 2.4 billion in EBITDA. So this company is about 1 times levered, not highly levered. Now let's take a look at the future as to see what changed here. So how does Kohl's look in a post-COVID world? Everything has changed for the negative. Let's start with the balance sheet here. 7.2 billion in net debt compares to 1.3 billion in EBITDA. That is 5.5x leverage compared to 1x leverage before. That is much, much higher. Anything above 4 is very highly levered, essentially, right? Why do we care so much about leverage? Because it changes the net income level here for us, the potential shareholders. And the net income level here, as you can see, the net income margin, which was 5%, now is just 1%, right? Compare that to Walmart at 3%, Costco at 3%, Target just reported a quarter of 3%, essentially. They are barely making money after they pay their debt here at Kohl's. Still free cash flow positive, however, right? And the EBITDA margin here, even before they pay their debt, that was 12%, now 8% essentially. So what does the new CEO have to do at Kohl's to fix this and from going all the way down the drain essentially? Well, essentially they've got to push margins, right? Whatever they're selling, which is net income negative essentially, they need to get rid of, right? Whatever deals they're making which aren't making them any money, and they need to push this net income margin to maybe 2, call it 3% if they're lucky, but let's say 2% here, and the EBITDA margin to 10%. If they can do that without losing sales substantially, they can probably push enough free cash flow into this debt pile right here to pay down its leverage ratio and give them a long runway to fix all of their problems here essentially, right? So we would not recommend Kohl stock here, even if it's this cheap essentially. They've got a lot to fix here. They've got a lot of debt to pay down. That's all in front of us as the equity holders. If they can get margins up and start to pay down some of this leverage, there's potentially some positivity for the equity holders, but until we can see that happen, it's very scary. Thanks for everything you guys do for us on social media, all the likes and the pushes and the reposts and all of that. We really appreciate it.